Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I hope you guys are having a great day, and today we're doing part 2 of my little mini-series, building or picking parts for my cousin's PC. If you guys didn't watch the last video, the little card will be right up here. But anyway, I have Eric on call right now, and I'm pretty much just going to be showing him what I picked, all his PC parts, see if he likes it, and this is kind of just so we can get on the same page and maybe make some edits or changes of things he maybe doesn't like as much, because he seems to not like many things I do. So we're going to hop on the call with him and see what he thinks. So guys, Eric has a picture of the parts list up on his phone because it took us about an hour to set this all up. So he's just going to be looking down at his phone at the parts list and everything and maybe researching some things along the way. So Eric, you want to start off with the CPU?
So the CPU Ben chose for me is the A&D Ryzen 5 3600 3.6 gigahertz 6-core processor.
Yes.
And I know nothing about what that means, but if he says it's good.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned something about the new third gen budget Ryzen, the 3300X and the 3100, but I decided against those because those are more meant for gaming, and I know you want to do some photo and video editing and stuff like that. So I decided the 3600 at only $166 right now would just be like a much better option because it's a lot more well-rounded and it'll just perform a lot better than the 3300X. So do you think that's good? Do you think you're happy with that? I know you don't know much, but do you think that'll suit you well?
Yeah, I don't know much, but if you're saying that the other one is primarily for gaming, then I think the one you chose for me is probably the better option. I just knew that it was a non-expensive processor, and I saw the video you made on about making the PC builds for it, and it sounded like it was really good, and I don't really know anything about it. So if I can knock some money off on the processor, allocate that money somewhere else, then that could be good, but it's still an inexpensive processor. If you say it's solid, I believe you.
All right. The 3300X maybe isn't mainly meant for gaming, but this is a lot more well-rounded and it'll have a lot more performance, and I think it's definitely worth the extra $45 that's going for right now. So we'll stick with that. I don't know how much you really care. Moving on to CPU cooler. I don't know how much you really care about aesthetics with your PC because the 3600 comes with a stock cooler. It's okay, but it doesn't look great. I mean, a lot of cheap builds use it and it works really well. I just don't know if you want like a dedicated CPU cooler for like an extra $30-ish.
I don't really care if I feel like it's something where I'm looking at my PC and I'm like, hey, I want something that looks cooler later on the line. I could get it. It's just $30, I guess, because it's not like I'd be replacing anything. It's not a waste of money. It's just money I'd be spending at a different time.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like there's other things in this build where I've just started you off with something, but if you want something more, you can easily afford it down the line, especially making the money you're making with your job. So
shout out Ace Hardware.
Definitely. It's a great place to work, it seems.
It's pretty solid.
Okay. Moving on to the motherboard. The reason that this looks a lot different than all the other parts is because it's actually not out yet. It comes out, I believe, June 16th, so only like less than 2 weeks from right now. But it's AM4's new chipset B550, so it'll unlock a lot more options from B450. I'm sure you don't know much about those. I don't really want to give you like an entire tech lesson right now, but I think B550, because it's newer, is going to be better, and maybe you won't have to upgrade your motherboard in a few years. You can keep this for hopefully until college. I don't have a picture. You can look it up on your phone. It's the Gigabyte B550 Aorus Pro.
Honestly, I don't really have any qualms with the aesthetics of it all. I mean, the PC isn't going to be the part I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking at the monitor most of the time, so I don't really mind.
No, that's true.
I haven't really decided on where the PC is going to be on my setup. I have plenty of space on my desk, but it could also just end up under my desk just in case of like the balance of things. If I don't have something on the other side to balance out the PC or something like that, I'm really not that worried about how it looks. I'm more worried about how much the performance I'm going to be getting from it and how much bang for my buck.
Yeah, like I mentioned in my last video, obviously you haven't watched it yet because it's not on YouTube, but I was mentioning a lot how you probably don't want like looks over performance, like you probably want the most performance possible for your budget because
Especially because my
$900.
budget isn't especially
Yeah,
high.
I think
With
just
my budget is that I don't need my PC to be the most powerful monster there ever is. For gaming, I'm extremely casual. I don't need, even
me
if I
too.
do end up getting like a 240 hertz monitor down the line, I'm not going to be near appreciating
Mhm.
the performance I'd get from it anyway. So
Yeah.
if I wouldn't sacrifice what I could get with my budget because of aesthetics. If I was really wanting aesthetics, then I could raise my budget and
Yeah.
just kind of wait a little longer to get it.
No, I think this will definitely perform better than my PC, despite my budget back over a year ago being a lot higher than yours is at like $1,000. But yours will definitely outperform my PC by a whole lot.
Especially because I remember when I was up at your house and
Hmm.
I played a couple games of Fortnite on your PC and just some
Hmm.
other stuff. I was content with that. I was honestly a little amazed with
Yeah.
the performance it had because it
Yeah.
was just kind of crazy compared to if I ever tried to play Team Fortress 2
Right.
on my laptop, I would average 12 frames per second.
Hmm.
It's just a mess because I've never really had the access to nice gaming like that. So I don't need to, my entry to it doesn't need to be at crazy high frames,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy high refresh rate.
Well, yeah, if you really like the performance of mine, then I'm sure yours will easily blow you out of the water. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good. All right, so moving on to memory or RAM, I've chosen 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3600, cast latency 16. I'm sure you don't know really what that means too
So I
well,
know what
but
some of it means. I
yeah,
know that 16 gigabytes of it is really good. I know that
it's pretty good.
DDR4 is the best DDR you can get because
Yeah.
DDR3 is bad and DDR2 is
Yep.
really, really bad.
Yep.
But everything after the DDR4 part, I was just kind of lost.
Right. Okay. So, the 3600, that's going to be, I don't know exactly because I'm not an expert, but it's like the speed of the memory. So, the faster the memory, the more performance you're going to have. That's really the best description I can give you. So,
Yeah.
my memory is 3000 speed, which is, it's like decent, but 3600 is the recommendation for Ryzen. And it's going to be like the fastest you can get without the price jumping up hundreds of dollars. So I think it's definitely a sweet spot right now for DDR4. And then the next
Yeah.
thing, the cast latency, I also couldn't really tell you what that means, but the lower the cast latency, the better or the more performance you're going to get. And I know for video and photo editing, RAM is pretty important. So definitely with the lower cast latency and higher speed, I think you're going to get better performance and you're going to have a much better time with this memory.
Well, I mean, if
RGB.
it has the stats right in the
Yeah,
name, you know whether it's going
right.
to be good or not, whether it's
Well,
DDR4,
yeah,
whether it's this or that.
that is
You have
true.
it
But
right in the
like
name.
the company is really trusted too. So just because it's $80 doesn't mean it's going to be a cheap company with bad customer service or something like that. So you're good with that. You don't want better memory. I think it's going to be fine, but just
From
in
what you're
case you
saying,
want.
it sounds great.
Yeah. All right. That's what I thought, just making sure. Storage, I've only gone with one drive, and that was pretty much to stay under budget, but this is the cheapest 512 gigabyte SSD, and because it's an SSD, obviously it'll be a lot faster than a hard drive. And you do only have 512 gigabytes. However, this is like another category where you can easily go back and get something down the line. Like a 2
Yeah.
terabyte hard drive is $55. You can easily get that like next week if you really wanted.
Or even if I just decide to get something like an external hard drive, something
Yeah.
like that, which is like even cheaper or something, and
Right.
then I wouldn't have to go through the process of having to kind of take apart some parts of my PC and install that.
But the SSD, I would do like Windows install, and then I would do the games you want to play, maybe like a video editing software or something like that, just so they load up super fast and they have better performance.
Yeah, definitely.
So for the video card, I actually haven't gone with NVIDIA. I've gone with the MSI Radeon RX 5700, and that's because it costs the same as a 2060, but it has a higher base clock, which means usually more performance. The 5700 is a step down from the 5700 XT, which is going to be even better, but because graphics card isn't going to, I think, influence your video editing as much as the CPU and RAM, the 5700 will definitely be fine. It's a lot better than my 1060, and it cost about the same price my 1060 did back a year and a half ago, so I think you're going to love it. And then moving on to the case, this is where I really wasn't sure, so I just added like the best all-around $70 case. It's just all matte black, everything. It's a really good case, pretty much is all I'm trying to say. But it has a
Yeah.
nice tempered glass side panel, and again, because I don't really know how much you care about aesthetics, and if you don't want a tempered glass side panel, I wouldn't really understand why, but I could find one without one. It would just be super old.
Yeah, honestly, the aesthetics of it are probably the least of my worries right now. I'd rather take the performance I could get than
Yeah,
worry about the aesthetics, because with
right.
my budget, again, I could find one, the other, or compromise.
Mm-hmm.
And aesthetics just isn't really something that's a priority to me. Like, I don't need to enter in at that high of a level. It's not like I'm driving my first car and I don't need to drive a Ferrari.
Right.
I'd be fine with a Ford.
$900 is going to be a great budget, and a $70 case is going to fit really well into that budget. We don't have to go with this case. Like, I could show you a ton of cases that maybe you'd rather have, like, because, you know, looks matter a little bit. And, like, if you don't like the looks of this case, we can easily find another $70, maybe even like $60 case that you like better. All right, moving on to the last thing on this list, we have the power supply. And this is a 700 watt. And you can probably see from the picture, the estimated wattage is 314, but you're generally going to want to go a good amount above that just for expandability and stuff. I think 700 is maybe a little bit overkill, but it's 80 plus bronze certified, which is going to be the certification you want because it pretty much is saying this power supply isn't going to blow up in a few months. So the problem here is, I know you don't care about aesthetics, but it's not modular. So every single cable that you might need is attached to it. And obviously you're not going to need some of them. So you're just going to have to kind of shove them in your case, but you won't be able to see them because they'll
Out
be
of sight,
like
out
down
of
below.
mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I could just shove them in like the back plate or something.
Yeah.
Then it won't matter to me. Like,
Maybe.
if I'm showing off my setup, I'm not going to show off underneath my desk to show off how bad my cable management
Yeah,
is.
exactly, right.
I'm not going to be showing off the back of my PC to show off how bad my cable management
Right,
is.
and you're not going to
If
show the
it's
wires
not
behind your
visible,
monitor.
It's going to stay here.
Yeah.
If it isn't visible, it's going to stay that way.
That is a good way to look at it. So, coming down to the price, it's $877.84. So we're under your $900 budget, I believe it was.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be really good. I think I'm really actually surprised I fit this much into the $877 budget, or the $900 budget. It costs $877. I'm surprised I stayed that low under it. I mean, this does like give room for maybe a hard drive if you want one like right off the bat, or a better CPU cooler if you want one right off the bat. But again, that won't really increase performance or anything, just kind of the price and maybe a little bit of the aesthetics. So I think it's fine like this.
And again, I don't need it to be the best or better.
Yeah.
And with the budget now, that like what, 23 extra bucks I could put somewhere else, like
Yeah.
I could end up getting a better mouse than I originally could.
Yeah, right.
Get a better keyboard, get a better monitor, just put it towards something else in my setup. Like I could use that bit of money to get a little USB hub. And
your lights just died.
Yeah, just a second.
That's all right. I'll cut a lot of this out anyway, because
Yeah, I don't know why that happened.
if you care about it enough, we can do a little bit of research. But I mean, I don't know what your preferences are and everything. I think you'll be happy with it. I mean, I'm not going to pick your parts for you, obviously. You can definitely change anything you want, but
You kind of did, though.
anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this parts list. Eric, you liked all the parts? You think they're good? You think performance is going to be good? You think aesthetics are fine? Everything like that?
If you're telling the truth, then yeah. But if you're just kind of making stuff up to...
Yeah, this actually, I was just kidding the whole time. This isn't your parts list.
I mean, it sounds solid. I don't really know much about it to complain about anything, but this will help me learn. And if I have any complaints from this one, I have a job. I can get the money to fix this stuff. If I'm not happy with it, then I'll fix it.
Okay, so yeah, sounds pretty good. So I think
really
those will
that
definitely be
over
fine
Zoom.
for you. I think it's definitely a great entry level PC. I think you'll definitely be happy with it. So this will give you some
Right now, this
upgrades
is
for
a
that
balanced
too. But
PC. It'll be solid for gaming, solid for production and all that stuff.
definitely, I agree.
It's good all around. So I mean, sounds like I'll be happy with it.
All right, yeah, I agree. And guys, that is gonna wrap it up.
When
All
all
right.
the parts come in and I build it and hopefully don't break it. I'll give a little review.
All right. Oh, I would like to see that, especially if you start a YouTube channel or something. I'll
Definitely.
definitely give you a big shout out.
It's in the works.
All
Not
right.
confirmed, but
We'll
it could
see.
happen.
All right, and guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. It seems like Eric likes everything, so I think it's going to be a great PC for him. It's kind of well-rounded. It's not really geared toward one specific thing, but it'll be great for photo editing, great for gaming, great for video editing. Anything he wants to do, I think, will be handled with a grain of salt on this PC. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, and turn the post notifications on so you can see every time I upload the second I upload, and you don't accidentally miss a video, which I'm sure you never do, but just in case. Everything mentioned in this video will be linked in the description down below, and because they are Amazon affiliate links, it means I will receive a small kickback from anything purchased off those links, even if it's not the product the link sent you directly to. So if you guys do want to directly support my channel, I would recommend using those. If you guys do have any comments or concerns, make sure you just comment them down below. I do reply to every single comment, so if you guys want to ask me a question or just give me a little bit of hate, I'll respond to it in the comment section down below. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.